Hey everyone, it's Brent with Investing on the Go. Today we're covering the SoFi Investing Challenge Week 21, our first red week and what seems like forever. Are you guys taking profits or continuing to dollar cost average? Let me know down in the comment section down below. If you guys are new here, I help people build long-term wealth by staying consistent through simplified investing challenges and real transparency. So subscribe to stay consistent and hit that thumbs up button so we can both grow together. Tiny deposits, real growth, full transparency. With that said, let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Let's go ahead and talk about the weekly performance over the whole market so far as of this past week. Now, during the week, the market ended in red, and this is kind of something I was prepared for, right? I was expected after the Fed came out, cut rates last week by 0.25%. That the market would have some sort of give back. I mean, we did have a bit of a cooling period with the S&P 500 down 0.28%, NASDAQ down 0.56%, and the Dow Jones down 0.14%. You know, the least loss this past week here. I went ahead and kind of charted this up here. So Monday we dropped from starting point where we ended Friday. We had a bit of a gap down there on Monday, ended in the negative, and continued down south through Tuesday and Wednesday. It wasn't until Thursday, Friday, where we did see a bit of green, bringing us out of those lows for the week, but it's kind of, under 1% loss. I think that's pretty good. So the weekly losses are followed by 3 days of continued losing streak, fueled by lingering concerns over the inflation, weakening economic data, and renewed trade tariff announcements from the Trump administration, right? There's that back and forth chatter of tariffs between the US and China and other countries as well. So that's always a growing concern, if that's going to get back into the mixture and could send markets, flowing further down. Now, if you guys are interested in starting your very own journey, I'm sure many of you guys out there are already investing, but for a few of you guys out there who are just kind of watching these videos and have not yet started, you guys can get started in our $1,000 investment challenge. What are you guys waiting for? You guys can just start with just $25 in your SoFi account and get a bonus of $25 just by signing up. There's also the free investment tracker down in the pinned comment below where you guys can get the free tracker. There's a Google spreadsheet, which we'll cover here towards the end. And then there's a actual PDF. If you guys are more interested in like a downloadable file, there's the PDF that can be downloaded, printed out, and then have all the information kind of added in there manually, hanging up on the fridge if you're saving for your $1,000 challenge. Now, week 21 progress update. As far as our portfolio, as I said, it was our first red week in quite a while. Now, our base investment, that's the initial or deposit that we've put into this account so far, is sitting at $627.25. Now, this is the same as last week. That's because I accidentally added last week's deposit when I was making my video on Sunday to release on Monday. The $25 had already been deposited automatically. I have auto deposit scheduled. So it deposited that $25. So I'd added it into the base investment by accident. And last week's actual total was sitting at 602 or something like that. And this week, nothing's been included, nothing's been deposited this past week. It's Sunday right now when I'm recording this. And Monday night is when SoFi puts $25 into the account, and then it's available to use on Monday morning or, Monday morning. Yep. But I just included that in my last week's deposit. So it's still showing the same contributions as last week. Our previous week balance, as I said, was $674.74, but our current week balance, we went down a bit this past week. We're at $673.37, and this is going to happen, right? We had some fluctuation here in the market. We went down 0.28%. So if we take a look at the S&P 500, where'd you go? The S&P 500 was down 0.28, the NASDAQ down 0.56, and the Dow Jones down 0.14. So we're right in line with the S&P 500 because we made our deposit after the market was already kind of tipping. That's kind of why this took place. We're only down 0.28. Our week change, we're down $1.91. So I went ahead and updated this new area here. So our total percent gain since we've started this challenge is 7.28%. And we started this challenge back on May of 2025. The next page will kind of showcase when exactly we started this challenge. But our total difference that we've made just from investing in the market versus just depositing into a bank account is that we've made $45.39 in capital gains since we've started this challenge. And that's where we deposited $25, got that bonus of 25, where we started with $50 as our base. And capital gains was really good in those first few weeks, but we had very minimal, cash in the account. Here we are with $627.25 as our base deposit. And our balance, our total balance is 673, right? So we've made quite a bit on our portfolio so far, but this whole challenge to kind of showcase how these tiny deposits can show real growth and how the capital gains, the dividends, all kind of compound on each other and grow your total balance further as you deposit more, right? Let's see here. Where are we at? New shares that we purchased. We picked up 0.04066. This is the least amount of shares that we've ever purchased at the highest price. We'll go ahead and cover that here in just a minute as well. So our previous week, we're sitting at 1.06223. So we did hit and complete a full share within the last week. We now own a full share of VU. And our total new shares of this past week is 1.10289. Now, I do have an arrow here kind of pointing to this little math that I included here. Now, we have received a dividend in the past, but we had a fractional shares of one. We didn't own a complete share of VU. We had fractional shares, right? So we did get paid out 0.73, we got paid out 73 cents in dividends during the last quarter. But guess what? We now own a full share of VU plus some fractional shares. So what's going to happen here on Monday? It's going to be the 29th of September, which is the ex-dividend. So of the shares that you own on the ex-dividend date, it's going to take the total amount of shares that you own, and they're going to pay you a certain amount based on earnings of the companies here. So the S&P 500 is going to pay out $1.74 per share of VU that we own. So what I did here is we own 1.10289 shares of VU times the amount it's going to pay out, which is $1.74. So during this next payout, instead of getting paid out 73 cents, we're going to get paid out roughly $1.92. So again, this is just another continuation of just how compounding works, right? Compounding is going, as your portfolio gets larger and those capital gains grow, it's going to compound. So if you have $1,000, 1% is going to be $10 versus if you have $100 and get 1%, that's $1. So your capital gains, when those do take place, it's going to grow your portfolio larger. And then when you do get paid dividends, when we hit these quarterly dividend dates, based on the number of shares that you own, you're going to get a larger share from those earnings getting paid out too. We've also increased our goal. Our goal now is 2 shares of VU, and our progress towards our goal just recently started. So we're sitting at 6% of the way towards our goal of acquiring 2 shares of VU. So hopefully that all made sense. If there's something in here that you guys would like to see included in these little videos, let me know down below. I would really appreciate it. These types of challenges start off really small, where I'd like to, everyone has $25 a week to get started in investing. If you guys would like to add more, which we'll add more in the future, once we hit our target of $1,000, we'll begin to have some fun and start some other challenges, maybe on another platform. I've been looking at Public and potentially Robinhood as well, where we can do different challenges between different ETFs that track different styles of investment. So I think that'd be kind of fun as well. So yeah, just let me know if you guys have any ideas down in the pinned comment or down in the comment section down below, and we can go from there. Now, in terms of our progress towards our goal, we actually fell a bit back this week. As I kind of said, I included $25 extra here. So this should be around 654 or so instead of where it's at, where it was, because I included an extra $25 there of deposit that was not yet invested. But we can see here on 9/23/25, we picked up with $25. We bought 0.0407 shares of VU, which is the least amount of shares that we have ever purchased in this account. And we purchased it at the highest price possible at $614.74 when we purchased this. And this is what brought up our total shares there to 1.10289. And our account total value 673.37. And progress towards our goal actually fell a bit back, but that's fine, right? We're actually quite ahead in terms of working towards our goal. We're 67% of the way there versus, I believe, if, without capital gains being in there, we'd be sitting at close to 60% towards our goal. So that capital gains is really kind of helping us out achieve our goal just a bit faster. Okay, so that is the progress towards our goal and where we are currently sitting at. This is just a quick video of the update from the SoFi Investing Challenge. If you guys are using other platforms such as Robinhood, Moomoo, Webull, Public, let me know down in the comment section below. What is your guys' favorite platform right now to be invested in? My main platform is Fidelity, but I'm always looking to check out other platforms and just kind of see how they work as well. I did completely move out of M1 Finance and Merrill Edge, so I do no longer have any accounts at those platforms, which we've covered pretty heavily here on the channel. But some of the other platforms I just not covered as much, so we could potentially dive into those. So with that said, I do appreciate everyone tuning in, hanging out. Be sure to go down below, subscribe for more weekly investing tips, smash that thumbs up button, and don't forget to check out the links in the pinned comment to start building your own financial foundation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.